Pairing. Got it. Done. Okay, so we are on YouTube private. I have us private right now.
Okay, so that's
Edit
good.
video.
Check.
Yeah, I hear you just fine. I hear you good.
Okay.
Live reaction to the live reaction for Thor Love and Thunder. Okay, I think I found out how to do it. Hold on.
Let's be salacious. Title it "What We Hated About Love and Thunder."
I already have it made, but next time.
No, it's all good.
I do notice that maybe like if we're gonna do like lives or whatever, it seems like a lot more popular one like will show their faces, like the people's reaction, like whatever they thought.
Yeah, actual thumbnails. Yeah,
they put it on with their thumbnails.
Yeah.
Thumbnails.
No, yeah.
So.
I'd be down for that. I'm cool with that. Also, I find it interesting that most of the ones that we get viewed on is either like it's always the bad of.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
Yeah, I was just scrolling through the page and I saw that the Batman the Bad has like 205 views.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's kind of wild, but yeah. I guess everybody wants to know the negatives.
Discuss. Bryan and I talking about Thor, Love, and Thunder. That's what we're doing right now. Let's see. Bryan and I talking about Thor, Love, and Thunder. I'm gonna just do my hashtags. Marvel. Did Chris see it yet? Do you know?
Yeah, he went with us and saw it.
Oh, okay.
With some friends all on Thursday, so yeah.
Gotcha. Are you gonna go see it again?
We'll talk about it.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I want to record it because well, I might not actually. I might just make this just a YouTube thing, just so you know. See how it goes.
Okay. Yeah.
Because we'll be.
I saw your instant reaction was just a YouTube thing, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Marvel, Thor Love and Thunder, MCU, Thor, Jane Foster, Mighty Thor podcast, movie reviews. I don't know what else. That's it, huh?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, we'll save. And now how do I go back to... Trying to find. Okay. Now I'm confused. I had it and then it went away. Gotta find out where. Okay, we're back on. I think. No. Wait, hold on. One of you. Oh no, yeah, we're on. I think I don't know. Oh, I wish. Oh, this is great. We're not public yet. I know we're private still. So,
Okay.
do you see us at all?
No, I have it up on my side and I do not see us on the page. So,
Okay, for some reason. Okay. No, I don't want that big. Let's see. Okay, I think we're good. Do you know? Let me look at something real quick. Let's see. I just want to look at one more thing and then I'm going to go public. I'm going to try this here. Um, let's see. Okay, let's try it. Let's try going public. I can see us
okay.
moving up there. I just don't know like what it looked different last time when I did it. So I wonder if I'm like in a different way of getting on there than it was last time. Be gentle with me. This is only the second time. Okay, let's do it. Let's just go public, see what happens. And let me know if we're up there. Done. Okay, we're gonna save it. Okay, well, I think we're live. I think we're live now. We might be. You tell me.
One sec.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I'm looking at we're live right now. So kind of curious how this goes. So we'll see. We'll see.
All right, cool.
Okay, well, let's get into it. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Nutty Buddy Entertainment. I am your host, Ryan. With me again is Bryan. Bryan, how's it going?
I'm doing good, man.
Good, good. Today, we are here to discuss a little bit about Thor Love and Thunder. Me and Bryan thought we'd get together and do a YouTube live just to see how it would go and talk a little bit about how we felt about the movie overall. Maybe we'll do general takes right away and then we'll get into some spoiler stuff. And Bryan, I have not heard any of your thoughts. You watched my quick instant reaction that I had to make at 6:00 in the morning because I really wanted to talk about it. What did you think of the movie, Thor Love and Thunder?
When I watched your reaction, I was like, oh, wow, we're on complete opposite sides of the spectrum for this movie. So it's very interesting because, yeah, usually we're pretty like similar on our thoughts on movies and how they were. So, but no, I enjoyed the movie. I think it had its flaws, but I'm going to say something. I liked it more than No Way Home, actually.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I did.
I'm actually glad you did because, like, here's the thing. I hate when like everybody likes the same thing, your friend groups all like the same thing. So it's nice that me and you were different on this. So, okay. I guess if anybody didn't watch my instant reaction, I was very disappointed in this movie. And we'll get into some specifics, but
yeah.
I was disappointed. I don't know what else to say. I really wanted to like it. I went in there hoping it'd be good. I'll be honest, is really what it was is they kind of, to me, went a little too far with the comedy. That in my opinion, I loved Ragnarok. And then this was kind of like a step too far. But, for my general thoughts, we'll get into some specific stuff in a second. But yeah, so I was a little disappointed. I love the story with Jane and Thor, though. I did like that story.
Yeah.
I did like the story with Jane and Thor.
Yeah. I love that part of the story as well. For me, it was the same issue in Ragnarok where the comedy was a little bit overdone, I think, in certain parts, but I think it worked well with the movie. We're finally getting this it felt like there wasn't many stakes in it, which, I think is a little bit of a positive because especially for like Doctor Strange, we were just like, okay, what's going to happen with the multiverse? What's going to happen with this, that, and this? And this movie was kind of just a standalone thing where it didn't really tie in anything else, or they didn't really bring into anything. It was more just on, Jane and Thor's relationship. So I appreciated that. I'm getting to the point where I'm just not caring anymore about like all these movies connecting and getting us to like an Infinity War thing.
That's fair.
I don't know. I just feel like it's going to be years until we get something like we got up until Infinity War, and I think they're going to take their sweet time about it at this point.
Yeah, it does seem that way. And the other thing is, I was thinking about this before we jumped on, is when they did the phase one. Now, a lot of people are comparing this to phase one, which I don't think is right. I think that phase one started off everything, and there's still stuff around since phase four. So you can't compare it necessarily to phase one, but it's almost like they're just adding as many heroes as they can.
Yeah.
In this phase.
Yeah. I was doing some research, and like they added in Hercules, on spoiler, for like one of the end credit scenes, which is a big like comic book thing, like Thor versus Hercules. So I assume that's going to be, but then, you get these other characters, like at the end of Guardians of Galaxy 2, there was Adam
Warlock.
Yeah, Warlock there. And like, it's been how many years? And that was like teased, and we haven't gotten anything. Maybe he'll be in the next Guardian of the Galaxy thing. But, also at the end of Eternals, we got Harry Styles as some, Eternal guy or whatever. So I don't know. They're trying to add all these characters in, but it seems like it's going to be a long process until they're actually like incorporated and it all means something. So.
Yeah, correct. I think you're right. I just wish, like, even in this movie, I was like, what a great opportunity for them to connect everything now.
Yeah.
I mean, but they didn't really.
We got a little bit, Eternals was kind of connected to this because of the what is it? Those big guys called again? The Celestials. Yeah, the Celestials were in like the God realm, there. So obviously we kind of get a little bit of connection there, but they didn't really play a big part. I thought it was interesting when what's his name got to Gore the God Butcher got to that end level where he was trying to get the hammer to open up the gate.
Sure.
We got some of the celestial statues there, which was interesting. So
yeah, I guess I mean, there was some things like you can make vague connections on, for sure. That's the way I kind of felt. It's like sort of vague connections, but I felt like they could have connected it more, especially when they went into that. Well, should we just talk about, let's get into spoiler stuff?
Yeah, let's do it.
Might as well.
I guess we've already gotten into
So anybody that's listening, just know, if you haven't watched it, maybe I should have put it on the thumbnail, but hopefully you know that you probably should have watched the movie before you came into this. But I felt like, especially like when they got into the arena with the gods, the aliens, all the aliens and all the gods, that was the opportunity to really start connecting what's going on here, because you could have had the god, the celestial, what's his name at the end of Eternals? It starts with an A. I can't remember, but you could have had him. You could have had some of the Moon Knight like gods, right? The Egyptian ones.
Yeah.
I thought there was a lot of opportunity to kind of start connecting everything. And I don't, I'm not, like you said, maybe we just want it too fast, or we just have to wait and be very, very patient. But for every movie that comes out, we keep hearing, oh, this is going to connect phase 4 really nicely. Everything's going to come together after this movie. And we're still kind of waiting for it all to connect to that movie,
Yeah. And I wasn't really going into this movie, unlike, Doctor Strange. I was expecting it to like connect together and finally get like a little bit of a glimpse into what was going on. But this one, I really wasn't. I knew like the Guardians of the Galaxy would be in there and maybe some other characters or whatever, and it more focus on Jane and Thor. But yeah, like I said before, I'm kind of getting to the point where I'm like, okay, we're not going to get what we want, which is like for everything to kind of make sense, which it took a long time for that to happen already. I mean, I wasn't thinking when we rewatched like Ragnarok that would be the movie going into what we got for like Infinity Wars and start everything off there. So yeah, I'm at the point where I'm just like, okay, because I know like what we got next is the Black Panther movie, and that's gonna have nothing to do with like the overarching thing going forward.
Yeah, no, I
don't
agree.
think.
I agree. So Jane, and let's just start with Jane and Thor. Maybe we can just kind of go character by character, talk about some of the things we didn't like and we didn't like. Jane and Thor, that relationship was really good. I thought her story was really nice. I thought, like, at first I was like, why did the hammer, why was it drawn to Jane? Because we saw that before we saw that Thor basically like told the hammer to protect Jane, and then it all kind of came together.
Yeah. Curious on what made her worthy, but we kind of find out that it wasn't necessarily that she was worthy. It was more of, I don't know, it's kind of what Odin did with the hammer when he sent it to Earth. And then Jane was able to, Thor was like, protect her at all costs. So yeah. And more of the protection wasn't her, once she did have the hammer, it was kind of killing her in a way. So I think that more of the protection was her being able to get into Valhalla at the end there.
Right. Yep. No, I agree. Yes, Megan, R.I.P. Black Panther, T'Challa.
Indra, I see what direction they go there with it.
Yeah, right.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, I agree. I thought that the chemistry between Thor and Jane too was really well established in this the movie, which it actually kind of makes the fact that she wasn't in the other movie a little better, because we kind of get, I'm not gonna go back and be like, now it's a better movie, but I will say it does make that her being gone better, and it makes more sense because we get the little flashback and the fact that like they both were unwilling to make that commitment step, which was kind of neat.
Neither of them could compromise really for the relationship. So no, it did tie it in good with it. And what we got, we finally got like a good Jane in a movie who was like a developed character. Finally, I will say that for Taika Waititi, he did good. I don't know if he wrote any of the script for this, but at least directed it.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, and he I want the hammer, that I just gotta say, like, the fact that it comes apart and then comes back together, that was kind of like a nifty thing.
That was awesome.
Did you do the did you ever read the Jane Foster Mighty Thor comic?
No. Okay. No, I didn't.
Yeah, I didn't either. But do you know, like, so you won't know whether or not like that was something that they put in that comic book then, like
I'm not sure. I can look it up quick, but I'll see if it is, because if that was something that they creatively did in this movie, that's pretty cool. But I'm not sure if her hammer was like that in the comic books or not.
Yeah, if anybody watching knows, like, you can let us know. I think we got 3 or 4 current viewers. So if you know, just let us know about Thor's hammer while Brian looks it up. Maybe you can beat him to the punch. Now, so it's sad, but then we get sort of like the final, right? It's the final story to Jane Foster. Like, she's not going to come back, you don't think? Or
I don't know. There was when Idris Elba Heimdall was like, "Oh, you can go into Valhalla now." She kind of like stutter stepped a little bit, so I don't know. Maybe she has other plans.
That's fair.
Defeats the purpose, but yeah,
it kind of ruins the sacrifice a little bit if she comes back.
I don't think in the comics her hammer was broken at all. It looks like it was fully intact.
Okay, so it's just something they did.
Yeah, instead of like having it just come back as whole. Yeah, it's pretty cool that they left it broken up and she could use the pieces to do that. Wow.
Yeah, no, so like the writers, like in the brain team for that move, that was an awesome addition to me. I was just like, that's cool. Okay, I picked the first 2 characters to talk about. Who do you want to talk about next?
I guess like I don't know. I think the comedy was a little bit over the top,
Yes.
specifically like some of the stuff with Stormbreaker. He I think they like in the beginning of the movie where he's like riding it like like a broomstick.
Right, yeah.
I was like, wait, what? I actually like the stuff where like Stormbreaker was getting jealous of Mjolnir.
Milner, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, I this was the first, I think, like sequel movie that Taika did. And I think he just didn't quite find that balance of bringing in that old humor, but still like bringing like more levity to this movie as well and making it a little bit more serious. Yeah, but I enjoyed it still.
Yeah, I thought it was like a way too like the goats. I like the goats like the first couple
I
scenes, but then
did,
after
yeah,
a while they
yeah,
got really old really fast to me.
yeah,
The the taking they basically took Grandmaster to me. Like they took him and they put him in Zeus's body. You know, like Grandmaster and Ragnarok, and they're like, "Oh,
yeah.
what? We're just gonna make Zeus basically just like the Grandmaster." I hated that. I don't want Zeus to be.
Really,
I
I
hated
never,
it so much.
I didn't think they he reminded me of the Grandmaster at all.
Oh, it's like just his
Zeus?
comedy, yeah. Like and then talking about like the orgies or whatever. He mentioned those
Oh,
3 times, and that was like a Grandmaster move.
I thought he was more just like pompous and yeah, arrogant than like I didn't really get that feel from like the Grandmaster. I think he was just like more of a show off because I don't think the Grandmaster was showing off as much as like Zeus.
I don't know. I just like to me it was, and I just really wish, like personally, with the with the Zeus and the rest of the gods, I just really wish they would have went with like Odin, kind of like Odin. You know, Odin was this leader
Mm-hmm.
of the 9 realms. You know, you see why people like felt good about him and like that, even though he was this person who with the powers, that there was this the Vikings that would worship this alien being from a different realm or whatever. You saw it, you like knew it, you knew why he was like looked up to, you know,
Yeah.
Odin, you know.
Yeah.
I just what like Zeus, I felt like it was just like, what in the world? Like I just don't get it. He's supposed to be the top of, and all these other gods are supposed to look up to him, and he's supposed to be the top of the top, and he was kind of a buffoon. I really wish they would have made him more like Odin, less like what they made him, I guess. I don't know what they made him like. I
I
just like
yeah, I don't know. I think they wanted to show how out of touch like all those gods in that place were because Odin was more he was the king of Asgard, so he's more in touch with like everybody who was in his realm and everything like that and what was going on in the world because he had to look over those 9 places and it doesn't seem like Zeus or anybody else does. And even at the end of the movie with like he's talking to Hercules and like they've forgotten about us, all this and that stuff. So I think they were trying to make like that contrast of like he's so out of touch, as well as there's one thing that's kind of confusing to me, which is when Odin is speaking to Loki, I believe in the second movie, Loki's like, oh, we're gods. And you're like, we're not gods. We die or born and die like men do, give or take like 5,000 years and stuff. So it almost seems like Thor is a god of thunder because that's what he wields. But what is Odin a god of? I don't
it's
like
a good question. I don't know.
Loki is the god of mischief, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like those two are gods of something, but Odin is just like the king of Asgard.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know. That was one thing I was like, oh, like, okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know, I guess personally. I guess my only okay, so my problem is so at the end of the end credit scene, he's like, you know, they look at us like we're a joke. Like that's what Zeus said. He's like, I'm tired of it being. I'm like, but you were a
Yeah.
joke that entire sequence you were on screen. So of course people look at you like you're a joke. Like you're acting like a buffoon. Why wouldn't people look at you like that?
Yeah.
And I think there would be a way to show how disconnected they are without making them look like doofuses. I guess that was my problem, is I felt like they were doofuses. Like just the
Yeah.
way he was like throwing the lightning around. And then when he came off his little platform and he like curtsied almost with his little short skirt on or whatever he had on, I was just like, this is, I don't know. I just felt like there was an
It was
opportunity.
very over the top. And yeah, I will say, yeah, it was a little over the top, especially with when he threw like Thor's clothes off there too, you know, and then everybody was like fainting and stuff too. But yeah, it's just, you know, I think what we wanted was like for them to play like a big part in what this movie was, especially when he's gonna go get up like an army, but that didn't end up happening. And I don't know, I was a little disappointed in that. I think the movie kind of like it grazed over a lot of this stuff. I will say it didn't feel like it was like rushed or anything like that, especially for
Mm-mm.
only being like 2 hours or so. I think they did a good job, as they have with like a lot of the movies for Thor, of going through. So I don't even know if they were to add more stuff, what I would say needed to be added to the movie. I would just say, you know, making a little bit more connected with you know, the gods and stuff like that would have been nice.
Yeah, like so for instance, I was thinking about this, like, okay, so you know how like in Moon Knight we find out why those individuals, like the avatar, one of the avatars of the gods was like, hey, they gave up on us. They stopped caring about us, so we stopped caring about them. You know, like
Yeah.
remember that?
Yeah.
So right. So I guess like my biggest takeaway is like you already have a reason why these aliens would stop caring about other people, other planets, is because basically they forgot about them, everything they did for them, right? So like that could have been the conundrum of what's going on at this like Colosseum. And just like, Odin, or even these avatars like Khonshu and Amit, you could still have like a very serious tone about what's happening between these aliens that were once gods to these people, and then um, these people. And you don't have to make it something like super goofy, or I'm saying, like, match
Yeah.
the tone of the rest of the universes when it comes to the gods. Like if you match the tone of the Moon Knight gods, or match the tone of Odin and Asgard, they kind of like, to me,
Yeah.
they just went total, like it doesn't follow the theme of the universe that they've set up so far when it comes to the interaction between these aliens and these humans. Instead, they're like, I'm saying, like they went like way far the other direction, like with the goofiness of it all.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, I think they just the whole movie just tonally was a little off, especially with what we got out of Thor and like Ragnarok, and how he had to find himself. And even the original Thor movie, he was kind of like on this journey of like becoming a better person. In this movie, it
Mm-hmm.
seemed like he was fully evolved and just kind of like regressing back into what he was before. He didn't really take anything seriously, especially like in that beginning scene with the Guardians of the Galaxy, and he's, you know, tossing his shirt off and like going full ham on everything. Which I will say, okay, so when those blue guys showed up on that planet, when Thor and Guardians of the Galaxy were on screen,
Oh, sure, yeah.
and you know, the Chiefs or whatever, I totally got Zordon vibes from Power Rangers.
Oh, that's a good call.
Yeah, and then with those creatures that were in those like spacecrafts that they were fighting, totally Tango Warriors from like the original Power Rangers movie, which they're
Oh,
like, yeah, you know who I'm talking about.
I believe so. Yeah,
Yeah,
Ivan
Ooze, like,
oozes.
yeah,
Yeah,
Eisen,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
total Tangle Warrior vibes. So I don't know
Good
if somebody
call.
planned that, but yeah, I was like, oh yeah, this is total Power Rangers right here.
That's a
But
good
anyway,
call.
yeah,
Good find.
yeah.
Yeah.
But like throughout that whole thing that he was doing with like the Guardians of the Galaxy, it just like, I don't know if they were just trying to like reset the tone for Thor, and
Mm-hmm.
like going forward, it's not going to be as serious as it was. I don't know if that's what they're trying to do, but you know, it almost it did feel a little weird that he wasn't really taking anything that serious, even when he was on back to like Asgard, you know, and in on Earth. He wasn't really like taking anything serious. So
yeah, that's why I just feel like it was a little over the top. Like,
yeah,
like everything. It's not that I didn't like the jokes. I liked a lot. Some of the jokes, maybe I would say like 70% of the jokes were pretty funny. It's just a lot of it. Like, it's that extra 30%. Like, to really appreciate the humor of this show, you have to have serious moments as well. Right. So like,
yeah,
if everything that is a joke, then it's just a comedy. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't know.
yeah. No,
Um,
and
oh, go ahead.
oh, I was gonna say, but I did love Gore in this. Um, Christian Bale did a great job of like playing this villain. He was definitely really good in it. I wish we got a little bit more with him. I wish he kind of got to like that. What was the place that Zeus was at? What was that called again?
Oh, I don't remember.
Okay.
I only saw it
I
one
am gonna
time.
see
Yeah.
it tomorrow mornings again before we do our big podcast on everything. So
Okay.
I am going to see it again. But yeah, I wish he would have got to that planet, or if they would have showed him actually like killing some like gods instead of like that screen thing that they had, that would have been cool. I I did not like what they did with Sif at all.
Mm-mm.
I don't understand what's going on with that in the whole like Warriors 3. They just completely just like dropped the ball with them. So
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that like with Gore, like the action scenes with him were really cool. I just wish that like they went to this like snow planet. That's where they found Sif,
yeah,
and then like he's like, oh, he killed one of the nicer gods or whatever. It's
yeah.
like, why couldn't we see that?
No, yeah, exactly. I wish we would have. And another thing with the one thing I don't think they did a good job of explaining is how he got his powers and how the sword was corrupting him, and it
Yeah.
wasn't really him behind everything that was going on. I don't think they did a great job of explaining that, because then it feels a little weird at the end of the movie when he doesn't have the sword anymore, and then he decides to bring his daughter back instead of killing everybody. So
Another redemption.
yeah,
What are we gonna do with
exactly.
that? Yeah. Yeah, and that's the other thing that I don't know, like his motivation was pretty neat. Like the fact like his daughter dies, but then it all comes ahead to this infinite character, which I just don't like. I don't know much
You
about
don't like
him.
Galactus's opposite?
Oh, is that it?
I believe so. Yeah.
But is that his power in the comics? I don't know much
No.
about him.
Yeah. Galactus is more he destroys, so he feeds off of planets. So
Right.
yeah, Silver Surfer is the herald, and he
Right.
basically like devours planets to contain his power. So he's kind of like he brings death, and then I'm pretty sure that this guy is the one who like brings light and life. So it's because he looks very similar to Galactus. And I was looking it up, and I think it's like the yin and yang of the two. So
Okay. Yeah, I didn't like that he could only grant one wish, and it only could be his wish from anyone. Like one person can only make one wish, and it's got to be one wish. It's like, well, that's a plot, very good plot, like convenience. And obviously uh like I just, again, like dying means nothing in the MCU, like nothing. I just don't like that. I would have rather had like him go, like you said, and find like where the guy, like we when we went with a couple different guys, we had 5 guys with us, and one of the guys mentioned, I'm like, oh, that would have been way more cooler if like the blade, when he would like kill one of these gods, if it like made him more powerful. So like he like just continued to grow in power, and the sword continued to grow in corruption. Um, it's strange to me that this sword has been around for so long, and all you need to do is destroy it, and nobody thought of that. Like, hey, let's just destroy this. Like that one god in the very beginning, after he successfully beat the guy who had the sword, he just let the sword lay there, which I thought was pretty interesting. I was like, why don't you just,
well,
unless if not everybody knows that,
yeah.
I guess.
Well, I don't think that it was easy to destroy the sword. Like you'd have to, but even so, when she broke it apart, it was piecing itself back together, and the way that she stopped that from happening
Oh,
was
good catch.
destroying her hammer.
Right.
So yeah.
Okay, good catch.
Yeah.
Didn't notice. No, now that you say that, I was like, oh, that's what it was doing. I didn't know. I thought it was like something with the hammer, like entangling the hammer with it. And I was like, oh, what is that all about? No, that makes sense.
Stopping the pieces going back to the sword, and then she destroyed it. And yeah, that's why she couldn't heal herself anymore with the hammer, because it was dead.
Okay, so, good call. But no, but but overall, I thought like his acting, Christian Bale's, was really good. I thought like his story arc was pretty good. I don't need a redemption story for every one of my villains. And it's like, we talked about Ragnarok.
Yeah.
And like Hela just being bad for the sake of being bad. It's like, we don't get that anymore. And that's one of the things I really appreciate about Ragnarok. But here we get another villain who like has to redeem himself.
Yeah, for me, I wish they would have just did a better job of like showing that it was more the sword that needed to be destroyed, because that was what was taking over him. When he got cut from it, he then could heal himself, but then I think the sword was the one that was calling him to go to that god or whatever. And like he then like was broken enough because his daughter died to kill him.
Yeah.
And then once he held the sword, that was just corrupting him. I think a good way of doing that was when the kids were around, and because his eyes were like that bright yellow.
Yeah.
If they would have had it almost like flickering in and out, kind of showing like there's still some of him in there, and because towards the end, it was like, as soon as the sword was destroyed and he made it there, he was like, oh God, what have I done? After, Thor tells him like, you're just searching for love instead. So.
Yeah, no, I see that. I also think like, remember the, who was it? In Shang-Chi, which we're getting something like these ancient weapons that are like, they, like influence people, which is pretty interesting. But so we understood that he was being influenced by, they made enough of a connection between him and his bracelets to make us see that he was being influenced by that creature.
Yeah.
So I'm with you. It would have been nice if they would have made it more clear. But but again, I just didn't need him to become like a good guy in the end, like because we understand why he was a villain. Like, I don't mind him dying as a villain, because it's like,
as soon as his daughter died, I clocked, I'm like, oh, she's going to be brought back. I'm like, there's some way she's getting brought back. Like, as soon as she like died, I'm like, this is a little strange. And then when it's like the one wish, I at first thought like, okay, Thor's going to be able to enter into there and then like wish her back to like full health or whatever, Jane, cancer is going to be, Jane is going to be back in, and when he didn't cross the threshold, I'm like, okay, well, she's probably going to die. And then the daughter is going to be the one who's brought back or something like that. So.
Yeah. I get it. I just don't like it, but that's just,
I know. Yeah.
I don't know.
But how did you feel about like the like kids in this movie?
Yeah. It was like just too cartoony for me. I didn't like the fact, like, I like the premise, I guess, of him capturing the kids to sort of give more motivation.
100%.
Yeah. I like that. I like that Thor was there to like, kind of keep them calm at times, to keep them up to date. I kind of like that. I just didn't like where they, even whether it was him granting his powers to all the kids, or the last scene when somebody else was wielding Stormbreaker, which I didn't think was possible. If you remember what how he described it in Infinity War, basically he's like, I need a Thanos killing weapon. And he's like, should we all have that weapon? And he's like, no, I'm the only one basically that can wield it, because if you try to wield it, it was going to do something like devastating to them. And Rocket's like, now I want to even go even more and get one of these weapons.
But love was technically a god, so I think she would be able to wield it.
how she
Remember
wasn't.
when he brought her back in like the part where they were when Korg was talking, he's like, she came back with godlike abilities or whatever he had said. So
Oh,
when he got brought back by her father, that yeah, she was able to like have some sort, because when she like shot that thing at the frying pan, if you remember, she had
yes, I
power.
did. Yeah.
So yeah.
No, I'm glad you were paying attention to that. I think I might have been like over the movie by then.
Yeah.
Because I saw that, I'm like, where did that come from? Where did they, I'm saying, where did her abilities come from? Her dad never had that, so I'm glad you mentioned that. But
Yeah.
I,
What
but
was
I did.
was it called
Oh,
the entity or no? What was that that they had to find at the center of the universe? Was it called, it's, oh man. I swear it started with an A. But I think when he brought her back, it gave her some sort of like his power or something like
I
that. So
thought it was
that's
called
why.
the Infinite. It wasn't called the
Yeah, the
Infinite.
infinite. Yep, there it
Yeah,
is. I
yeah.
knew it started with an E. So yeah. Or no, I. There we go.
A vowel. It started with the
Yeah,
vowel.
Val. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, that makes sense to
Yeah.
me.
But yeah, I think what it was meant to say, some of this explanations in this movie is what more kind of irked me, because it was very just like briefly glazed over. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to going and seeing it another time so I can catch some more of the stuff or whatever that's in the story.
Yeah, you'll have to tell me if you got like. Well, we'll
Yeah.
talk that night, Monday night.
Yeah.
But the other thing that kind of was confusing about this story is, so they went to go get help from Zeus. And
Yep.
then they're like, oh, we don't need Zeus. All we need now is his lightning bolt. Acting like it was like this big prize. They get the lightning bolt, but like,
Yeah. Is it just supposed to like that's where Zeus's powers come from? Is that lightning bolt?
but it
I
didn't
don't
do
know.
anything. It wasn't like a
No, yeah,
strong
it did.
weapon or
Yeah, no.
anything. So they
I
kind of
mean,
made
it
a.
did give it did give the kids the power they needed to like defeat whatever or battle. But yeah.
Yeah, I did. So how did you feel about the kids? You asked me about the kids. How did you feel
Oh,
about the
yeah,
kids?
kind of similar to you. I think it was a good motivation of taking them from the village. I didn't mind like Heimdall's son
No, I didn't
as
either.
much. It's kind of like getting into like the Young Avengers where it's kind of starting up with the new kind of theme. Um but yeah, I just, that battle scene is where I'm just like, could have done without it. I kind of wish that they would have, found them, sent them back, and then just had to battle out with him without having the shadow creatures like have to battle these kids. It was a little just weird, especially with like the weapons they have. And like one of these kids would have died, like at least one.
Yeah. No,
Not all
it's
of them will
true.
survive. So
Right. No,
that's
it's
just a
true.
little like, okay.
No, I agree. I agree. No, that's the thing. I just, when we were talking about, there was a movie that we talked about. Oh, we were talking about Star Wars and how like it couldn't decide what kind of movie, a TV series
Yeah.
that it wanted to be, Obi-Wan. That's kind of what I felt about this movie. I didn't kind of know what kind of movie it wanted to be. It wanted to be like all movies to all people kind of type thing, where it's like a kids movie. It's got its serious tone about cancer and dying from cancer.
Yeah.
The idea of these, godlike creatures and how they fail to take care of the people that like look to them for help and support. It went, and then it went to comedy, like a really goofy, weird comedy where I'm just like, come on, seems more like a Saturday Night Live skit than it actually seems like a good part of the story. So that's sort of like how I feel about it. That's why I didn't really like it, is because I didn't hate it though. It was just very
Mhm.
inconsistent to me. That's the way
Yeah.
I guess I would describe it.
No, yeah, and I do miss that. Like, I think a lot of what the cohesion of the previous Thor movies was having Loki in them.
Mm.
They had such a good chemistry on screen and just like story wise, where it just like it kept you like bonded to it in a certain way. And I think it was lacking that a little bit. I think they tried to do that with Jane, but it was still a little off. I loved everything that they did, but besides that, I mean, his like friendship with Korg is cool, but it's, yeah, I don't know. It's not the same as like with Loki. So
Yeah, I agree. Valkyrie was really cool once
yeah,
again. well played by, I think Tessa Thompson plays
Yep,
her.
yep.
Yeah, she did real well. Good story for her.
You know what this movie kind of, so do you remember the drama with this movie before when it was filming, the whole kiss thing?
Whole kiss thing. No, I don't.
Oh, well, since you've been living under a rock. So
Yeah,
back
I
when it
guess
was
so.
filming, there
Uh-huh.
was a photographer who photographed the director, Taika, his girlfriend, Rita Ora, and then also Tessa Thompson, all like kissing on a balcony.
Okay.
So there was like some throuple going on there, but it was like huge news, like what's going on here, whatever. So I don't know. The He's kind of wild. And what I felt like in this movie was like, I don't know if they filmed it all on like Molly or something like that, but it was just free spirited and it didn't really have like a focus or direction,
Mm.
which I don't know. It felt a little off to me, and I don't know what was going on with the filming for it, but I felt like they were just kind of like, let's have some fun. And, there's no stakes on this movie, which makes it kind of, it is fun, but I don't know. Do we just take Marvel too serious? Is that the issue? We just want it more, just, a serious tone to it.
Well, Moon Knight, I felt like was pretty serious. I mean, there was some funny
Yeah.
moments for sure, but I really liked Moon Knight. Like I
Yeah.
thought that was well done, and it kept like the serious moments serious, and even like Doctor Strange, at least you felt like it had a serious tone for sure. Like I think
Oh,
that's a little bit
true.
of an
It,
understatement. So
well, yeah.
I just think it's the direction that this movie went, and that's what I mean by like it's just kind of so disconnected to me from the rest of the like. So when we were talking, Sarah brought up that we were told, somebody said, I don't know who it was, if it was Feige or whatever, and I feel like this is just like they're going to keep saying it. So people are like, okay, we got to go see this next one because it's going to connect everything. But
Yeah.
Sarah mentioned that this was supposed to connect everything. And I was like, I hope so.
I
You know,
I think they're just doing that to get people in the theater at this
I
point.
agree. I
Yeah.
agree. I
I
don't
think they're
think,
just, yeah, like, oh yeah, this is the movie that's supposed to explain stuff. No,
yeah,
it's not. No.
no. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree because I'm just like, not only did it not explain things, but it seemed like the furthest movie from everything that was going on. And it's not just
Yeah.
the fact it was in outer space, but it was also the fact that like it did not match any other tones that the other movies set, except, you could say that it kind of was like Ragnarok, but I feel like it was way
Yeah.
over Ragnarok, honestly.
Yeah.
You seen my instant reaction. Like I just, and maybe I'll get, it was I'll get your take on this. I got to finish my sentences. It was kind of, to me, somebody described this and I was like, oh, this makes so much sense. It's like when Batman Forever came out and like you
Mm.
had the Joker, I mean, not the Joker, the Riddler and Two-Face, and it was like a funny movie, and
Yeah.
it did well, I think, amongst audience. But then they went to Batman and Robin, and then all of a sudden the suits had the nipples on them and all this other stuff, and they went like way too far the other direction. And this is what it kind of reminded me of, like when it was told to me, I was like, oh, that makes sense. Where it, like they found something that kind of worked with the audience, and then they're like,
Hmm.
let's just go all in on this, and
No.
that's the way
Yeah.
it felt.
100%. Yeah. I'd agree with that. I don't know if we have to view stuff from now on going like if it's before Endgame and then after Endgame. If it's BE or so yeah, it's just like everything before that was just like had a more serious tone to it leading up to what was happening. Because even so, with the first Avengers movie, the whole thing in New York, everything got just a little bit more serious, like leading up. And now we're just in this like kind of like free spirit world of just like, oh yeah, we don't have to really worry about like anything big happening. um, but I also think it's interesting that they haven't really like incorporate anything from like the TV shows into,
Mm-mm.
anything. I mean, with Wanda, they did, but it was so brief.
Yeah.
It kind of, the getting her backstory of why she was doing all this, but they didn't really incorporate it that much. If you didn't watch the TV series, you wouldn't have missed too much. She's still the Scarlet Witch or whatever. So
Yeah, so like I think Thor, when they were going to visit Zeus, I think he mentioned Ra, right? And Ra is an Egyptian god, right? Like, so I thought, wouldn't it have been cool if you just like met Ra? Like, wouldn't that have been cool?
No,
like,
yeah.
And then he connects with Moon Knight, with Amit and Khonshu. I just felt like they missed an opportunity here. I feel like that's the part. And I agree, like maybe we take this stuff too seriously sometimes, but I feel like Marvel did such a good job, you know, rewatching phase one. Like I rewatched phase one not too long ago, and I'm just like, everything is, it feels connected. There's only 6 properties, so it's easier to connect. And you don't need like a ton to keep it all connected, but it is connected, right?
Yeah.
And now we get into phase 4 and it's more disconnected, although you have all these heroes that are surviving phase 3. So you think it'd be even more connected than phase one was. But it's, again, I don't mean to beat a dead horse here, but I'm just a little disappointed that it didn't connect it somehow for us here in this movie.
No, yeah, I agree.
Okay, man. Anything else with the movie?
Let me see here if I got anything else on my notes.
While you look at that, I'll just remind anybody who watches or listens to this, we will be doing the Great, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly podcast. We did Ragnarok. We did Thor, the Dark World, and Thor already. So if you just go into the podcast feed for Nutty Buddy Entertainment, you can listen to those. Also, I've posted clips, and we will be doing one for Thor Love and Thunder, I think this Monday, if it works out. I want to see if I can get a couple guys on with us, but cool. That'll be nice. So you said you didn't see anything else?
No, I mean, if you want to talk about the gods, how about Bow God? That was awesome, right?
The one? What one?
Bow.
The like
the little food
guy.
Yeah.
See, and that's when it's just like, that's what I mean. That
I thought that was thing. I thought that was really dumb. I honestly, I wish they would have had more time to like actually like, you know, talk, because why wouldn't at least one or two of them like be like, oh yeah, we have to help, and then, you know.
No, I agree. Like I thought like, hey, let's have a council room and you can have like some of the top like gods in this room, right? And then like they're meeting because they understand there's this threat out there, and like they have to like fight with the fact, like, should we go out of this realm that we're in right now that makes us powerful and risk our necks for these people who don't appreciate us anymore? You understand what I'm saying? Like that would have been a much cooler scene for Thor to walk in on a meeting like that, and you see some of the like greatest like mythical creatures or you know, whatever that humans created in their own heads, and you like just see these guys arguing about whether or not they should go after Gore, and because they weren't just he wasn't just going after gods, he was going after the people. Like he went after the Asgardians to draw Thor out, and that's what he was doing. So it could have been like a conundrum that they were in, like, but they don't appreciate us anymore. They don't look to us for help anymore. So why should we care? You know, that type of stuff. And Thor comes in and be like, no, he's going to get stronger than you guys if you don't go out. Like sort of like, I don't know. Anyway, that's how I would have done it. I just think, again, just a missed opportunity to
they should have kept just an extra beat on them, and you know, having them kind of realize like what exactly they're missing out on of not, you know, going after Gore, or how serious the situation was. I think that whole like world with those gods on it, they should have did a little bit more focused on that, and they definitely missed out on that in the movie.
Yeah, and just make them a little bit more serious to match the tone of the Asgardians and the you know, the Egyptian ones that we've already met. If you did that and the rest of the movie was like this comedic thing, that's fine. But that tone, I think, would have been nice just to take a break from, so you see the seriousness of this weighty decision. And, you know, you could still have your core one-liners or whatever in there, but just not everything had to be goofy. And I just, oh man, I was just so disappointed. Yeah. I'll get your official rating on Monday.
You're not gonna like my rating for this movie.
Okay, you're gonna go see it again. So what would you rate it right now? Don't like if you had to rate the movie, like if right now.
If I had to rate it right now, I'd rate it at a 8.3.
Really? Oh
yeah.
Man. Oh, we couldn't be further apart.
No, we could not.
I'm more leaning towards like 4.3.
Really? See, even with like, kind of the overdid comedy and stuff, I still enjoyed the movie. And I actually, like I said in the beginning, I liked it better, I think, than No Way Home. So, because No Way Home would not have been as good a movie if they didn't bring these like powerhouse older actors in with Doc Ock and, William Dafoe as Green Goblin. Like that, I don't think it would have like held up to what it was. And as like I don't know, I have my issues with No Way Home, but yeah.
It's funny because I think when we ranked our Marvel movies, didn't you have it like at
No, I had it actually as a 9 out of what we were doing, because we were doing Phase 4, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So at the time, I had that high just because everything else really didn't, I don't know, keep like hold up. Like there wasn't anything really that good. But as we've gotten through some other stuff, I don't know. Like I still like the movie, but I don't know. I enjoyed this one more, but I'm also like rating it off of like No Way Home. I'm rating it off of the previous 2 movies, as well as this one. I'm kind of rating it off of, what we got from Thor the original and then Ragnarok 2. I don't think it's better. It's not better than Ragnarok, so I can't really give it a 9. So yeah.
Oh man. Well, I'll be honest, man. I'm happy you liked it. I am happy you liked it. I'm glad anybody else who also liked it. It's just I have my personal problems with it. It's funny because it seems like that's the way the audience is sort of leaning. Like you either really liked it or you really didn't right now.
100%. Yeah.
Which is interesting because what baffles me is like Marvel. Other than maybe Captain Marvel in Phase 3 when it's at, Marvel got to its like peak. I don't remember such like debating among movies. Like, usually it was everything was like awesome. Everything was awesome, and now it seems more like it's been a little bit of a divide between everybody with some of these movies and shows that's been coming out.
What was the first movie that came out after Endgame for Marvel?
It was Far From Home was after Endgame. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But then it was I think Black Widow was next that came out after, like during the pandemic.
Okay. Yep. Okay.
Technically, I think Far From Home is the last Phase 4 movie. I mean, Phase 3. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think you're right, actually.
So the first thing that came out was Black Widow after Phase 3. Okay. And that divided fans just in the sense of like, was the movie even needed? Like like it was 2 years too late.
Yeah, and there was the whole thing about it coming out on streaming.
Yeah.
Over 7 theaters and all that. Yeah. So yeah.
The villains were awful. So
yeah.
Anyway.
But even so, with like No Way Home, there was still some, I guess, like levity to the movie just because Tony had just died, and like it talked about that a lot, passing on the mantle, and then as well as like his identity being shown at the end of the movie. So it kind of still kept you in. But yeah, then we get into Black Widow and nobody really cares. Also, it's like it's a movie that's before all that. Right. So then after that, we got to wait for Eternals, and then that's just a bust.
Yeah. But see, it's funny because like me and you, we agree on Eternals for sure. But
yeah,
there were people who really liked Eternals, and I'm just like, I just don't see it. I want to, I guess, but I don't. When they explain why it's so good, I'm like, I did not see that at all. But good for you. Glad you liked it.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Like I don't want to lower my expectations because I feel like Marvel can match. Like I I didn't think there'd be any cameos. I wasn't like looking like, it's not like I just wanted a good movie. The story, but like I said before, between Thor and Jane was really good. But and then Gore's story was also really good. It was just everything else around it was just a little over the top for me. A lot of bit over the top for me, and that's why I didn't like it. But I don't even. You said the next movie is Black Panther.
Black Panther, yeah, in November, I believe. So
Miss Marvel's out now. And is there something in between as for the TV series, or are we just waiting for Black Panther?
Let me see here. So we've got Miss Marvel out now, and then I believe Andor is out in August, and then we got Black Panther, and I don't think there's anything else Marvel. Or am I missing something? Oh, Loki, season 2, but I think that's next year.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I guess we'll have to see how Black Panther does. That's what we'll have to wait to see what that next is. And that movie's already kind of behind the
I'm sorry, She-Hulk. We got She-Hulk is in August. Okay. So we've got She-Hulk comes out August 17th, then Andor on the 31st, and then Willow, November 30th.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, yeah. So we'll have to see what they do. And unfortunately for Black Panther, it's a little behind the 8 ball because they got to figure out how to do this whole T'Challa thing, and we still have to get that figured out.
Do you think they're going to I don't know if he filmed anything, but actually have him on screen? Or just someone in a suit and then he's offed. I don't know.
It's delicate. It's a very delicate. Yeah, it's a delicate situation. I don't know how they're going to handle it. And guess what? I don't envy the writer that has to figure it out.
Would you be mad if they recast?
No, I think they should have
recast them right away. They should have recast as well. I think they shot themselves in the foot killing off Michael B. Jordan's character.
But remember,
that would have been a great.
Just remember though, death doesn't mean anything in the MCU anymore.
That's true. Multiverse. And I mean, we did get in What If, I mean, he was Black Panther. So yeah.
I thought what would be cool is just grab T'Challa from a different universe where Galactus already came and swept away the earth, and he somehow survived somehow, and they'd let's just pull him from this universe and give him a new family and make it Michael B. Jordan. I don't know why they couldn't do something like that. I think that would have been really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay, man. Anything else?
Nope. Monday night, we got the full review coming out. So yeah.
So if you're interested in listening to that and hear me complain a little bit more, you're more than welcome to come on. But I'm really happy that you liked it, Bryan, because at least when we do that podcast, we'll have a little bit of difference.
My wife is going to be on the review, and I'm working on her. I'm slowly getting her increments up on the points for her score for the movie. So
how does she feel about it?
She was on the fence like you, but I've slowly gotten her from a 5 to a 6. So we'll see if I can get it up.
Stay strong, Sarah. Stay strong. I know you're not listening, but if you were listening, stay strong. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. Okay, man. Well, that's all we got for today, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in on our YouTube live. Again, if you'd like to hear Bryan and I and his wife and other friends who have joined us do some recap of other movies. We did the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. We did, like I mentioned before, Thor Ragnarok, Thor the Dark World, all the prequels of the Star Wars. I mean, we got a lot of them out there, the great, the good, the bad, and the ugly for the reviews. We will be doing a review in a couple of days for this series, so look out for that, not only on YouTube, but also in our podcast feed. So that's all I got for you guys today. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks, Bryan, again for joining me.
Yeah.
And we will talk to you guys soon.